Good morning. I understand that it feels a little bit strange when I'm speaking to a microphone and you cannot hear anything. But the reason why we're doing this is that today's event is going to be recorded. So you are being warned that whenever you ask some kind of question that, well, this will be then also for the follow-up, the viewers, so that they can also see. So welcome everybody to Inside the MBA, where we are going to talk about the product management, about the digital product management, and what can we learn at the Estonian Business School. My name is Marko, Rillo, and I'm teaching innovation and strategy courses at EBS, and I also take care of some of the MBA programs. I'm trying to see that, well, whether everything makes sense. And today's morning coffee event here is in order to understand a little bit better how to manage digital products. And for this purpose, we have several things planned. So first of all, we have Anna-Liisa Reinson, who is going to shortly give us a short speech about digital product management. And thereafter, we are going to have a panel discussion with Mislav Kunst and with Kadri, Pirn, who are, well, our EBS MBA alumni who deal with different types of technology projects and manage technology businesses or technology-related teams, so that we can ask them firsthand, so what does it mean to manage, well, digital projects, digital businesses, and we can also ask firsthand about the experience at the EBS and at the MBA program. So before we get started, so a quick overview, what's the plan for EBS? So as a result of different types of conversations, and I'm especially thankful to Urmo Keskel, who is sitting here. He has been probably the mastermind of this program. So he was the one who asked, well, 2.5 years ago, me, that, well, why doesn't EBS have a program for digital product managers? And essentially suggesting that, well, if we don't have, then let's try to do something about it. So looking at different schools worldwide, there are programs which are related, but so far, I guess that in this part of the world, EBS tends to be the first one who has come up with a program. So, and starting from this autumn, it's possible to actually participate in either 1-year or 2-year digital product management MBA program, which consists of 4 different components. So first of all is about digital product strategy. So a micro degree where in 9 weeks it's possible to come up with a digital product strategy and then really understand, well, that we are building something which is useful for somebody else. Then the second micro degree is going to be about digital product prototyping, where we look at user requirements. So we have Martin Eovago here sitting as well, who is, well, taking care of this program's user requirements component. We're looking at design, so how to design something which would be, well, pleasant for the user to use. And we also have then Code Jõhvi, so coding school, who is also here at the premises of Estonian Business School, with whom we actually learn how to prototype the first prototypes of digital products. Then the third micro degree in this program is about managing the processes, managing the systems, and we have also here our colleague, so on all fours, who is joining us also for this program. The third micro degree is about, well, Scrum, Agile, different types of methodology, and also about, well, how to take different types of database decisions. So we have Eveli Karner here, we have Mart Parve here, who are sort of like taking the lead on these micro degree. And then finally, we're going to wrap up the program with a 4th micro degree, which is about managing change and leading change and managing product portfolios, where Merle-Liisu Lindmaa and Tarvo Okmees will finalize the entire program. So by the end of this, actually, it's possible to learn something all-inclusive about managing digital products. So how to create them, how to, well, lead the teams for development, and how to manage the portfolios so that they would make sense as well. So this was essentially a short overview of what is planned. But now enough marketing. So without further ado, I kindly ask then Anna-Liisa Reinson to take the floor and speak about the Digital Product Manager in 2022. So the floor is yours.
6.
6, obviously. So I'm somewhere else. 2026.
But it is, in essence, the same as in 2022, even though we now have AI, which is better at it.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you for catching this. Thank you. The floor is yours.
All right. Hello, and it's very good to see you. And I'm very happy, actually, that this is a cozier room than last time, so we can have a conversation about what product management actually is, because I am going to be terribly laconic when speaking about it, because it's one of the hardest roles to master, I would say, but also very simple, because you find out very quickly whether you were successful or not, but then you have to iterate and do better next time. So I am Anna-Liisa, and I've been a product manager, largely speaking, for a very long time, more or less 15 years now, I guess, in different roles. I started in marketing and comms, where I already gravitated toward digital projects. Then I was a development manager. I managed the bug backlog in Telia for a while. That did not last long because I had ideas and they supported it. Then I became a product owner, which I also was kind of only half a product owner because I had ideas and they supported it. Then I became a product manager and then eventually a people lead. But I would say that I am a builder and a product manager most of all, because becoming a people leader was always means to an end to build better products, to make better decisions, to get access to the resources that I needed in order to do better in terms of building something that actually matters. And while I say that it is, in my opinion, one of the most hard roles or difficult roles in IT to master, I also love it the most. I would not do anything other than this. I work with startups a lot. And in the startup culture and looking from the outside in, it looks like you come up with an idea, then you build it, and then success happens. It's not quite like that. And there's this idea of or it's almost like glorified belief that you have to become a startup founder because this is what happens. You just have to start with the greatest idea, and it's the idea that is the problem. While it's not actually. What it looks like more or less in product management and any startup that you ask, or actually any large corporation where you start building a product, it looks more like this. You have an idea and then you have 10,000 more ideas from you and everybody else around you, because everybody has an opinion. And then you realize that none of it matters unless you talk to your customers, because they are the ones that can help you define what it is that you actually need to build. You learn, and then try to validate whether you understood what you learned correctly. Then all of those 10,000 ideas that you have, you need to prioritize, because many of them, and sometimes all of them, are good ideas. It's just a question of which one is the best one currently. And that is one of the hardest points, I would say. Then the one idea that you do pick, or maybe you pick several, you need to get into it, analyze it, prepare it for the development team, build it, launch it, find out that only half of it was true, or that you need to iterate and do better. You learn, and you start over. And the hard thing about product management is that new product managers, or actually, I don't know, we have product managers in this audience, you can tell me, but most people want to start building new products. You can't. Mostly, when you go work somewhere, you take over a product that already exists, but you still need to do this. You need to figure out what it was that was good enough for the market, what it was that needs to be better, and you need to start doing the cycle. And that, I argue, takes even more patience, detail-orientedness, learning, because starting something new is almost, you start from a clean sheet. Learning something that somebody else has made takes more time and it's harder. So I had to do this, and I think every product manager in this room had to do this on their own. They had to figure out where they were lacking in all of this process, and just learn that bit. So this is why I'm here today, because this is the first place where you can get a proper foundation of the whole process. Basically, you get the knowledge, or you can study it. I had to go and study IT because they didn't have any product management things, because that was what was lacking at that moment. But if when I started, that they'd had this program, I think I would have started taking at least the micro degrees and then probably finished the masters. So I'm happy to be here. So what in like the most simple terms we need to do is, first of all, figure out what the right thing is to build. And I know all of you are going to be, or some of you are going to be asking about AI. In this process, AI will help us find out faster and better what is the right thing to build. And then eventually you have to build it too. That is for the development team. I would argue that product managers can't yet participate in that too well, but in the near future, yes, I think that will happen. And then you have to figure out what to improve and start over with this cycle. Doesn't end, sadly or happily. But it also means that you can't fail unless you give up. So, and why do we do this? I tried to come up with a product that you might all know. I think this one's an old one, but you will all remember the Google Glass, which you were meant to wear on the street, and it would record everything and everybody. And turns out everybody else feels very uncomfortable when somebody is wearing this. And nobody could actually explain what problem it was solving. It was just very cool tech. And yes, early adopters did buy it, but ultimately it failed. Apple, I think, tried to do something similar and failed. It was even more expensive, and so it failed even more miserably. Because cool tech without a real user problem does not fly. Sometimes with a lot of marketing, you can generate need. I don't think we needed streaming services, for example, before they came to be, and we learned to need it. We did watch TV. We had similar patterns in our daily life, but we definitely did not understand why one would watch TV on their phone. I remember I was in Telia at that time, and Minu TV was coming out, and customers were asking me, why would I watch TV on my phone when I have a TV? And I had no good answers for them. And yet today we watch TV on our phones. So you can do this. However, there needs to be already like fertile ground for this. And this is why, or that, I guess, is why just an idea and building does not equal success. And the question is whether you have an idea and you build and you have already invested a lot of time and money and resources into building to find out that this cool tech will not fly, or you try to find it out before, as soon as possible, so you can let go of that idea or iterate that idea and figure out what the idea or what the solution and the problem might be that is relevant for your market. But just cool tech, usually not going to happen. Oh, sorry. So one of your most important jobs as a product manager is actually to find a problem painful enough for the users to need a painkiller. And there are painkillers and vitamins, and recently I saw at a service design workshop that there are also gummy bears apparently on this slide now. So either your product is a painkiller, it's a vitamin, or it's a gummy bear, which is Netflix, I guess. But I think that painkillers are the most likely to become successful in the end, because if you have a headache or any kind of an ache, you're more likely to take the painkiller. And while having a painkiller is not enough, actually, because you need to build a business case around it, it needs to, yes, be valuable for the customer, but also if it costs a lot to the customer or to the company and you give it away for free and you happen to not be an NGO, then it's not viable for the company and they will go bankrupt. It also needs to be usable. can be a great idea and can be a great solution. If it's not usable and the users experience friction and it's just bad, they can't figure out how to use it, they won't use it, and therefore, again, it's not viable for the company. Technical feasibility, I can't say that you can't build something today. Anything can be done. It's just about the resources, how much you have to invest into it. And then again, come back to business viability, whether it costs so much that it doesn't make sense, the investment will not pay off in the end. So you should, as product managers, only build the very middle. So if you think about it now, figuring out that something is valuable for the customer, that it's a painkiller, that you can make, or that it's making it usable with your designer or maybe AI tools now, making sure that it's buildable with the reasonable resources, and then calculating the business case in terms of business viability, you need to be pretty much everybody or every role in your company a little bit. You need to be like a generalist. You need to be decent enough in everything to figure out which one, which idea, which case is that little green blob in the middle. You will have a team who will back you up, but you are the one that needs to take everything together and recognize quality. So basically, you are in the center of everybody. You handle your stakeholders, you collect the data, you collect the feedback, you collect the requests, you collect the requirements from your customers, from finance, from sales, and that makes you ultimately the best person to make a decision on which path is the best, simply because you have all of the information. You can build it with your team, and hopefully you are also very good at knowing people, because the team matters. In the end, it matters which team and how you lead them without actually leading them, because of course you are not the manager of anybody. You lead with influence, but you are able to inspire a team around you that helps you build those ideas. But ultimately, product is at the intersection of everything, and that is for making the best decision possible. This is why all of these roles were gathered up in one person, because having a business person and having a finance person and a project manager, etc., that creates collective responsibility. And what collective responsibility means is nobody is ultimately responsible. And it's not about responsibility, it's about ownership and the fact that somebody is truly passionate about making this one product work in terms of making the world a better place. Because every product person is a little bit like the savior of or they need to save the world a little bit with every product. Maybe not everybody, but everybody I know. And once you have that best decision, you finally need to, and this one is very, very simplified, because planning it, building it, and shipping it is an art on its own. However, this is then what happens. After you've figured out what the best possible problem is, what the solution might be, testing it, validating it, gathering everybody's requirements about how long the terms and conditions need to be and how much it can cost, you need to build it, ship it, and then repeat. Because I guarantee you, whatever goes to market is not going to be 100%, because it never ends. Software is never ready. I don't know if you know the Estonian proverb or the Tallinn one, that Tallinn is never ready. We are always building it. So this is the same with products. So product management is one of the most versatile roles in IT. And therefore, arguably, it takes a lot of learning to master. For me personally, nothing beats the feeling of shipping a solution that actually solves a problem, and everybody wants to be with you, wants to give you feedback, wants to use it, and you see in actual tangible data that somebody's life is now better because of this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anna-Liisa. And before we start with our panel discussion, so any questions that you'd like to ask, just to clarify in terms of the background, in terms of Anna-Liisa's experience, about the role, about the competences, so that you'd like to take just a hand up, and Urmo, please go.
Yeah, I have even several questions, but let's try one. Quite often it is that the product manager have a lot of information and connections and so on, but how to deal with that if in a company there is some really high paid person who knows better than this product manager what to do and how to do.
This is why I became a people manager. Well, I would say that a person's word against another person's word is nobody is right. You have to have evidence. So if you, as a product manager, you have done your homework and you have the data and you have the client feedback and your decision is based on something, while your manager maybe just guesses, then no, like if you have the data, then no manager will, in their right mind, overrule you if you can prove to them that your decision or your way leads to success. However, that is not as black and white always. So I don't have a good answer for you.
Yeah, because I have seen so many product managers. I have seen so many product managers who have read Marty Kagan and Empower Teams, and they try to apply those principles in their organization, and they just then.
But it's not about the principles.
Their management, and somehow it seems to me that the good product management should start from the top management.
Absolutely, but
to
also
make them believe that it's possible to do it another way, and good product management is something different compared to the project management.
It is true. The principles as such are not the thing. Like, it's not about good product management. It's about success in a company. So I think that it starts, yes, from the top, that you want to do better and you are willing to trust this one person. This is one thing. But the person also has to be competent enough and want this trust and this weight on their shoulders. So I think it's both sides. So if you are in a position where, and in my mind it was the hippo in the room, the CEO comes and says that we shall now build this, and all of your data says otherwise. My solution to that was join the board and have an equal say in it. But as a product manager before, I never that was my problem, that I argued till the very end, because I can talk forever and they can't, turns out. Eventually we got to an agreement that we will try my way and I will research what their idea was and figure out whether it is a good idea or not. It's always about human to human kind of connection. If it's already an argument and it comes from top down, then I don't think that you can do much, because depending on who this person is who is arguing with you, if it's the owner of the company, then in the end, you work for them. So, but then it's a question of whether product managers are needed at all in that company or expected. I've quit the job because I told the management board that, in my opinion, you need project managers. I'm a terrible project manager. I can't do project management, but I can do product management. So we agreed, and that was okay. So it's a question of whether product management is actually what the company needs and expects. And you can't fight against it unless the management board has decided that they need product management and are willing to commit to learning to at least a certain extent what it is. Then you can't turn a company as a product manager. Yeah.
All right, so we have here Martin and then another Martin.
Just reminded me a story when I joined Bolt as a product manager. And I was a first-time product manager, and then there was immense pressure because Bolt has so limited resources, very prudent company, and everyone is pushing for something like across the board. and like people also like everyone understand that influence is a thing, and then people with influence are pushing you all the time, and then I like complain to my colleague and that's a rookie problem. So you tell them that like what you hear, you thank them and tell them that this goes right into the backlog, and this saved me. So small tip here.
I teach my product managers the same. Just tell everybody it's a great idea. It's going into the backlog. And then we prioritize eventually. It might be a good idea, but we need to validate first. Mm-hmm.
Could you kindly make a distinction between a product owner and a product manager in the context of conflict resolution? Let me give you an example. A product manager has his data and statistics, believe he knows, the product world, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the product manager, but a product owner is closer to the customer. He represents the voice of the customer. He's also closer to the Scrum team than the product manager. And he knows technically it's not feasible. And the product manager is telling him economically it is viable. So how do you resolve this conflict?
I think that in my world, actually, product manager needs to do the product owner role also. So it's not different. So whenever I work with companies and they have a product owner and a product manager separately, I see it as a dysfunction rather, that they are making up for something, like they need somebody to manage the team kind of and prioritize, and for whatever reason the product manager cannot do it. So just to make this one clear.
Scrum Alliance makes a very clear distinction. Well, if you study the Scrum rules, it's against Scrum regulation to match product management and product ownership. They are two distinctive roles, okay? And let me explain why, okay? The Scrum framework follows the 3-5-3 rules, which which means 3 roles, 5 ceremonies, and 3 artifacts. Okay, now, and the rule says the product owner is one of those roles. The rule did not say the product manager. So I am a product owner. And I strongly believe that a product owner builds the product, a product manager manages the product. For me, they are two different things. What's your take on that?
In my teams, they are one and the same. I expect both of these sides to be managed by the same person.
Then it's not a Scrum rule. It's against the Scrum rule.
Yeah.
Totally against
It
the
might
Scrum
be.
rule.
I've been a rule breaker my whole career. So for me, the most important thing is that at the end of the day, when the product gets to market, they are, or the product is what the market needs it to be. How we build it is very different in every company. There is no right or wrong. Yeah.
So, Marko.
Yeah. This program is about product management. But then what is a product and what is a service? And should we differentiate between the two? Or are they the same in this context and this program?
I think that's a rather a question for Marko, but I will answer from my own perspective. I think that a service can combine many products. Like it's the whole experience that if we think of services in terms of, I don't know, you buy services from Telia, let's say. It's everything combined from customer service to the sales process to the actual internet service or product that you buy, and the after service when you're about to leave. That's the whole thing, and it might combine 1 or 3 or 5 products. But I think in my mind, the development thereof is the same. You have the same mindset. Just for some of the parts, you need to develop software. For some of the parts, you need to develop people.
Could it be also other way around?
Yes, I think so.
Product many services.
Yeah, can also be. Yeah, depends on how you go about it. Yes.
Well, I come from the insurance, and I have a different philosophy on that. Okay, you know, if you look at the customer journey, you have the stage where you try to acquire the customer, to the point where you try to sell that product. Okay, and my experience is that it costs organization more money to acquire new customer and lesser money to maintain, the old customer. So in other words, in that customer life journey, or in that product life journey, we try to build the next stage, which is a service. And this is the point where you try to bring in campaigns, all sort of campaigns to, like you said, to when you put the product into the market, and the customer buys it, then it becomes an innovation, right? And Steve Blank, the famous professor of Stanford, Columbia, and Berkeley, said, you might have a good idea. If the market does not accept it, it becomes an untested hypothesis or a faith-based enterprise. So my philosophy is product, you need to add a service to that life cycle, okay? Because it is that service that helps you to collect more data about the performance of that product, so you can bring it back into the life cycle, and you have a mixture of product and service in one cycle. That's just my philosophy.
Do I understand that you're arguing that upsell in your own customer base is better than
Yes, it is a part of service, and it's also cost effective than acquiring a new customer.
I think that is a question to Mart actually here in the front row, because it depends on how you calculate cost in that sense. How much does it cost to actually keep your existing products and services up? I also come from insurance, so I've looked at that sheet, and it doesn't always pan out that it's cheaper to keep up the current products and upsell within your own customer database. Sometimes it makes sense to actually develop new ones and enter new markets.
Yes, of course. I mean, when you put in campaigns, so you are bringing in new ideas to improve the old product. That's what I'm saying. And that's a form of service as well. I don't know, just my idea.
I actually have that question to Marta, if you're willing.
I try to help out here with my small peanut brain. Again, a story. So there was a consumer company, and there was huge panic over customer service quality and service quality in general, and so people really worried about it because customers dissatisfied. And then one guy actually took out the data and discovered that unhappy customer cases didn't lead to higher churn in the customer base, and they decided to deprioritize service quality. That was a product decision, and so data showed that the company was overestimating the importance of customer satisfaction. This sounds really counterintuitive, but it says a lot about the realities of product management. It's not about like how it seems or how do we want to look like or anything like that. It's cold hard data and reality. And good product management, unfortunately, luckily, I don't know, is a lot reality-based, and in my micro degree about data-driven product management, I try to reveal sort of the aspects of this type of thinking and how to make these decisions. And as we discussed here, it's also really important how to sell these decisions and deliberations in the wider organization, especially selling up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marko. Thank you for taking this. Indeed. So sometimes this kind of data, makes us wonder about these things. Can I ask you to please go back to the slide about the roles? So is there a possibility? Because I would have a question about
Which
this
one?
Yeah,
This
that
one?
Yeah, that one, because this looks a little bit fuzzy and funny. So, and also lovely and colorful. Can you please elaborate this one? Because it essentially tells a story that being a crude product management is next to impossible, because you would have to have skills in very diverse set of areas. So how to actually handle? Is this a mission impossible in terms of capabilities, or can it be achieved at a certain level? Or is it a matter of delegation or something else?
I mean, depends on what your expectation is, right? What I always say is product management is it deals in the gray zones. It's never black and white. The only black or white, and the product managers here can disagree or help me out here, but the only black or white KPI that we have is deadlines. And deadlines we usually don't deal in. Everything else is subjective. And basically, to make a good decision out of this, yes, it's possible, because I know many great product managers. Is it comfortable, and do you have to deal with a lot of people and a lot of data and make the best possible bet? And it is a bet. You can't know what the future holds. You can make your best decision. You can have experience. You can have all of these skills and still make the best decision, and then find out whether you were right or not. I think I was probably a better product manager in the beginning. Then in the middle, it kind of fell off, because I also was fazed by everything that I found out that I didn't know and I needed to know. And then I started bit by bit piecing the puzzle together. I think it's possible. And it's not just product management. I come from advertising and marketing. These required more or less the same thing, just I had less say in which kind of products I needed to market. So I don't think it's unique. However, to be good at your job and to truly enjoy it and to have less imposter syndrome every day, which I still sometimes do, I think this is how you start. But often enough, when I do the skill test with product managers who feel a lot of imposter syndrome, they feel like they need to be better or the best at all of this. They find out from the test that they're actually pretty good at a lot of the stuff. But there are like gaps there, and then they can start learning those parts of product management. But if you look at it as a whole and you start judging yourself, then yes, it becomes impossible, because the kind of the wall becomes something that you don't believe that you can climb anymore.
Okay, all right, thank you. So looking at time, so we can have one more question from Mart, and then let's start with panel discussion.
I like this slide, and product management is a management discipline.
It is.
And when you manage a product, then what do you manage?
All of this. But ultimately, for me, it's the success of the product. For me, it's do I know what is the problem that needs to be solved? How do I know this? Is it my gut feeling, and does my gut feeling consist of many different data sources, or is it just my gut feeling? So I try to flood myself with information from the outside to drown out the voice that I have in my head, so to not feel very confident. Then can I convince others, the ones that are investing in me and in this product? It's either the management board or VCs or whoever. Can I convince them with the data that I have and with the words and with how well I can speak about things? Can I convince them this is a good idea, good investment? That if you invest this much time, money, essentially it comes down to a monetary investment, right? Because all of the people that you have in your team still get salary, and basically you invest time and resources. Can I convince them that this is a good investment? And how confident am I based on this data? Then, once I have the investment, can I, with my time, resources, skills, and the skill set in my team, build this thing? Then, can I bring it to market? What are the risks in terms of coming to market? Like, what can go wrong, or what can fail? Can I manage them? Can I mitigate them? Then once it's on the market, and it will not be 100% success because of like one of the key aspects in the chain not working too well, or maybe my assumption was wrong. Can I learn? Do I have the resources and the time to learn, or will I be crucified right away as it is not a huge success as it gets launched? Can I apply these learnings to the next scope? Will I get more resources? Or does this product have to live forever? So I manage a lot of things. I don't know if I answered your question now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, just
So regarding the management and leadership role, so there are like a great deal of bubbles here. The organization usually is in a chaotic state and in the state of increasing entropy, so to say. So the product like every one of these guys in finance, in engineering, they have their like scattershot of ideas what actually should be done. And the leadership job of product management is to like constantly work on alignment to keep the product vision in place, so that these other bubbles would be driving like approximately in the same direction. And also there is a management layer, because you want to release something, you need sales and marketing orchestrated, you need engineering orchestrated. So without any formal position of authority, you both need to lead these like various functions with their own ideas, and also actually manage and even project manage these people that actually don't report to you. And like in day-to-day life, this is the leadership and management job that you spend most of your energy on. And yeah, it's like regarding your management and leadership skills, of course, like without formal authority, it's much harder, but can be done, right?
It's true. I argue that it actually, in my opinion, easier as a product manager than as a...
Actually, yes, correction, you're right.
But it seems harder. But yes, all of these, I was considering whether to bring the stakeholder management here, but then, thank you, Martin.
all right. So we have one more question, and then let's start with a panel. Yes.
Hello, Anna-Liisa. My name is Mona-Lisa, actually.
Nice to meet you.
Almost same name. Just I want to know, could you share me like an anecdote? How what is the biggest challenge you had, and how did you overcome it? And also a small achievement, and what made you happy? Like what was your like the biggest achievement you had? Like the challenge and the achievement. I just want to know.
Biggest challenge and achievement. I think throughout my career, the biggest challenge is not to believe all of the voices around me saying one way or another, and validating and getting over my own bias. I think my favorite story is it's because I was very junior back then, and I kept being told in Telia that the mobile company EMT and the home services company Elion had joined, and they were very old companies, so there was a lot of legacy in terms of platforms, and it was impossible to start building a joint self-service. It needed 6 years of refactoring at minimum, and then we could have started building a new self-service. And it seemed very intimidating, but somehow I think I had too loud a voice, and they told me to put my money where my mouth is. And so I got a team that I was very lucky with, and that team actually helped figure out how to start building now, not in 6 years, and in tiny fragments, iteratively, that you don't need to put a huge investment into something and then find out whether it's useful or not, but you can start doing it bit by bit. I think this was my biggest learning point, that people who have been in the industry for 20 years sometimes still don't know, but they also don't know not to be as loud as they are, and to allow other people to learn and prove otherwise.
All right, very good question and very good answer. So it's about thinking, taking small steps,
Yes.
empowering yourself, empowering your team, and seeing that, well, successes eventually come.
Yes.
All right, lovely. Thank you. Let's give a hand to Anna-Liisa. So can you please take a seat over
Yes.
there? And let's also, well, we have Gecko here now, who is part of the panel. But can I please invite Gecko? So can I please invite Kadri and Joel?
Oh, no.
All right. Okay, take a seat here. All right. So let's take some time. But until Anna-Liisa is being untangled from different types of microphones that she had attached to herself. So let's do a quick round of introductions. So can we please start with the opposite end? So Joel, Mislav, Kunst. So Joel, can you tell a little bit about your background, about the connection with the EBS, and so what have you done before, and what is your current role?
So I come from engineering background. Before EBS, I finished masters in computer science. I also went later to PhD, but I dropped out. So my career path was starting from software engineering, and then eventually moving to things like engineering management, where somewhere in between there was some exploration, and I had a little bit of product management as well, not nearly as much as you folks. And I also like to play around with my own products from kind of like this solopreneurship thing. And there you kind of have everything, product management, engineering. So you do everything yourself. So there is some mix of these things as well. And yeah, currently I am in Microsoft.
So what is your role in Microsoft? What do you currently do?
Engineering manager in the area of telephony.
Okay, wonderful. And can you also tell a couple of words about your experience with EBS? So you were the MBA student here. So,
Yes.
So when was that?
Some 5-ish years ago. I don't remember these numbers like that. But yeah, what specifically about the experience you would like to know?
We will get to that later then.
Sure.
Let's start with this. So thank you, Joel. So then we have Kadri Pirn.
Yeah, I am Kadri. I'm Estonian. My background is also in computer science. So I have been engineering manager at Pipedrive. But before that, I was project manager and analyst for decades in Elisa and Ericsson and whatever. But then, then I exited myself from engineering management and became more kind of like organizational design consultant. And then I found myself at the EBS MBA last year. So I graduated last year and enjoyed the journey. And now I'm working at Salv as leading of the business unit for parts of the product. So we are fighting with financial crime today. So. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. We already heard about the background of Anna-Liisa, so we're not going to ask you introduce yourself once again. So maybe we can just continue, Kadri, by you holding the microphone and answer essentially the first question, which is probably similar with what we asked also Anna-Liisa about the sort of like product management experience as such. So what is your experience with product management, and maybe you can relate to that? So how do you see product management as a role? What do you see in terms of, well, what does it bring? What's the value? And then, Joel, you can probably then add also your perspective on the same matter.
Yeah, well, I haven't been taking the role as product manager, or I haven't wear the title. I would say that I actually have had the role. I think that's actually also the question answer to Martin's question before, and as well that product owner versus product manager. For me, product owner is a role and product management is a title, and it doesn't matter which title takes which roles. So you can have similar roles in one person, but it needs to be clear what you're taking. But my background in product management at Pipedrive, at some point we didn't have product manager in our team, so we had to kind of like learn from the feedback, understand what we need to build, talk with the designers. Luckily, we still had, and prioritize together with engineers then the backlog and do all of that part. So I have been like next to product manager for a while, and on the early stage when product management was not the thing at all yet at 20 years ago at Elisa, then I most probably was wearing a lot of product manager hats as well back then, at least part of this nice flower we had before. And I think it's really cool role to have because of the diversity of the skills you need to have and diversity of the people you are interacting with, and also kind of like in the end influence what you have for the end users and for your own business. So I think it's cool.
The role was very well presented already by Anna-Liisa. What I have seen in my limited experience with product management is that in all companies that I've seen, this was like quite a different role everywhere. I think that something similar was mentioned here as well. But something that I can add maybe to all of these things that I tried to apply and noticed when I was learning a bit about product management, what was very interesting is that you can look almost anything as a product. Like yourself also, when you are interacting with people at work and whatever you're dealing with, and apply all of those things that have been mentioned about product management to what you are doing, like how you gather information to make decisions, how you learn from it, how you adapt. And this is something that is probably valuable for anybody, those skills, even if they are not going to be product managers in some company.
All right, thank you. So let's now move to the changing role of product management in the age of AI. So I understand that, well, now with the help of large language models, with different types of AI tools, we can actually prototype, we can actually test, we can experiment, we can automate certain things. So how do you see that things are changing in, well, how have they been changing in the past 4 years, given my language sort of like error before? And how do you foresee that they will change in the future? So, and whoever wants to be the first to answer.
I can answer because of this flower again. You have agent for every flower, right? Today, who is taking the role of, I don't know, financial advisor versus the designer versus engineer. And you learn so much faster. I can bring up from my current place where, like at Salv, that competitor analysis, what was almost impossible to do before. Now I just run the prompt and there you are. It's not fully true. You need to obviously be really critical about it, but you get the grasp. You get kind of like understanding how they are presenting at least themselves and how you differentiate yourself on your marketing or from your positioning. So this is actually so fast now. And if you don't do it, then then you fall behind. But I think that what is the biggest challenge and what I see from product management right now is that how much do you invest inside of your product with AI? So you should use the tools that are available, obviously. But the challenge is then even more with all this like so rapid change. You don't know what to build, and we are in the compliance business, and it's totally impossible to project that how much is actually accepted by our customers, and constant fight between this that users are asking that, hey, we want to have this AI functionality, and then whenever you build it or you add your terms and conditions, we are using something, then it's no, you are not allowed to, because you are basically like with the risk of sharing too much, right? And then I think that's the challenge now. I think that the world is changing so fast that you need to have even better gut feeling and luck to get it right.
Sorry. Do you want to? Yeah.
Take your time.
So one thing that I have noticed personally, even though I'm not the product manager, as said, but maybe related to product, is that it was mentioned here that sometimes you have like millions of different ideas and it's hard to know where to go, etc. And with AI today, for me at least, it's a lot easier to play around and explore lots of different things, options. Again, you will not get to, as you mentioned, like the perfect result, but you will get enough information very fast so that it's a lot easier to navigate this maze of million different options and ideas.
I think I think that while I do agree with you, but don't you think that it's also kind of eroding our own sense of ability to make decisions? Like, you have to discuss everything with an AI now and see if it agrees with you or not. So that's a separate topic, but I find that while now you should not have an excuse anymore why to have an idea build and then hope for success, because you have all of these agents and you have, like, at least to some degree, all of this data. So data-based decision making should be easier now. But I don't think that this is where it's going to end for product management, or that we are just going to make the life cycle of a product or the product management cycle faster by applying AI to every process. I think that even now, the way that I build products in companies that are maybe more willing to take risks and to play around, I find myself half an engineer in addition to a business person, and the roles, I think, are very, changing a lot. Like, for example, I play with, I don't know, Figma. Before I used to need a designer to do this. If a designer has set like a certain framework and I have the style sheet and I know where my sandbox is, I am able to create prototypes. I am able to validate whether this or that is the better way of going. And to refer back to what you said, the other day I was trying to improve a product strategy document that I had, and I was thinking to myself, maybe the customer experience is not at all something that I should be defining anymore. Maybe in 3 years we should just allow for every user to vibe code their own UI, and what we do is API endpoints. And then going from that, I continued to argue with somebody in the commentary of a LinkedIn post saying that I would like to consent whether my data can be used by the government with the use of AI. I would like to decide for myself whether I want for the Terviseportal, for example, to give me AI-based explanations on my blood analysis. So I think that it is, while a lot easier to master that flower, it's also a lot harder to build products now because there is no right answer anymore.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So you're essentially also referring to the mindset shift. So because with the help of tools, people are somehow having much higher expectations to themselves, to everybody around. Yeah, of course, you can vibe code it in sort of like just 2 hours. Yes, of course, we can do something like this. So how does this kind of changing mindset have an impact on learning and doing business in this field? I see that, Kadri, you're already shaking your head.
I'm not thinking before answering, I guess. But I think it is actually something that what I found, like when I started to use cowork or agents in general, I was so overwhelmed. And I keep hearing it exactly the same from engineers who have been like coding with Copilot already for like years, right? And I think this is something that we need to tackle more and more, is the kind of like our mental health, because all this, we know that for human brain, context switching is really difficult or expensive, right? And now we keep doing it even more than we did before with like social media or anything. Now we do it with really meaningful tasks, and from creating creativity and from kind of like thinking that how should I verbalize things and thinking things through, you all of a sudden need to learn that how to be critical and read. So there is so much more reading rather than thinking, because you just prompt and then something comes out and then you need to read everything and then improve it. But so there is a lot of more information coming in, and at least for me, it's really kind of like expensive, I would say.
Okay. For me, from more like engineering perspective, I disagree with this like approach of for building products or using AI, where you just say like, build me this, then like iterate on it and get something. I think this is very good for prototyping, for non-technical people to express what they mean, to try things out, but not really for building like a production-ready product, at least yet. We are getting there, but we are not there yet. And again, depends also on the product. And from the engineering side, for me, the most interesting part about engineering is figuring stuff out. And AI helps with getting information faster, but I can still do the thinking part. And then when exactly everything is figured out, it just needs to be done. This for me is the most boring part, and this is relatively easy to do with AI today. So for me, it's very kind of like exciting, and I enjoy using it, even though from another side it looks like, oh, AI is coming, it will take your jobs and whatnot. But I think the roles are changing.
So, Anna-Liisa.
Yeah, I think for product managers, probably AI has brought back this part of figuring out what the problem is. Because I think for a while we were glorified assistants trying to gather up all of the information and convince somebody, while now that part has become much easier. And with the help of prototyping, like vibe coding something to figure out whether this would help the market or not, this has brought problem solving closer, and we no longer need designers as much or engineers as much to get to the answer that we used to get when we launched a product to the market, and then you get the ultimate answer whether this is successful or not. It's not the same with vibe coding and prototyping, but you can get closer. And I myself feel like this childlike joy of building something and hearing the direct feedback and then changing it, which I think I lost there for a while. So AI has brought it back.
So doing something and beep, beep, it works. All right. So now let's give the possibility also for our audience to ask questions. So go ahead, Heavily.
Yes. So let's bring continuous improvement into the table. It's obviously really important for the product management part as well as for the delivery. So, and my question goes like that. How have you included continuous improvement, whatever methods you use for yourself personally, and then together with the team, to have this learning effect for the whole, let's say, system in this product management field?
Who would like to go
first? I have a difficult time answering because I have many answers in my head. I think at this very moment, I am improving my product management skills through visualizing the ideas that I have and going to the actual customers, speaking to them, receiving feedback, not like theoretical customers. But yesterday I spoke to a CEO who might be a customer to a future product that does not exist and probably will not exist. But I have these theoretical exercises to now kind of try to find out where my skills are at this moment, and then applying them to myself. In terms of my team, though, I try to encourage them to upskill with AI at this moment. But I think that we are still iteratively, we are still far from becoming this, using these AI skills in the iterative improvement. It doesn't directly answer, but for me, the first and foremost is AI and not missing the train at this moment. And in delivery, I don't think it's there yet, at least in product management. Yes.
I also have lots of answers, but I'll try to focus on one. For example, again, from engineering side, when you lots of the people around outside of the engineering, they see this AI and it looks so magical, it does everything, it's improving so fast, and it looks like, oh, this will take everything. And then as an engineer, when you're more closer to those systems, you see how they work, you try to use them, and then constantly something is really bad. and you also have like a bit of pride that like you are honing this skill for your whole life, and now this thing will like take your job. No, it won't. So what I'm trying to do from this continuous improvement is trying to force this like closed thinking on like, this is just like little tool, and try to experiment a bit more with it, give it a bit more kind of trust, let's say, just to see like what happens, rather than conservatively using it for like some small gain, to explore this like other side that I don't see myself.
Maybe I answer the question from this other side, from like how to learn for the product management or how to improve the product. And for that, what I have seen in the couple of last years to be more and more used is like, thanks to LLMs, you can actually really easily analyze all the calls what you have done with the prospects and customers, and you don't need to have these customer interviews anymore, what was part of the product manager job or researcher's job at Pipedrive, for example, that they run interviews with customers. But because those calls, what at least we are doing, are mostly recorded by like everybody understands that they are, and then you just can analyze all the calls, like what are the product features, what are challenged the most. And it's so easy. It took so long time during like 4 years ago when I was at Pipedrive, like how long those research projects took actually. And now it's kind of like this, and we get it, like we can do it every day and analyze like what are the trends. Is AI now asked for more, or is it actually challenged more? So we can actually do quite a good context analyzing to feedback to the roadmap planning for feature improvements, and in the end, hopefully also user experience. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you've been describing how AI is really helpful in producing the artifacts. So for instance, replacing customer interviews with some sort of analytics, probably backlog triage, writing product requirement documentation, analyzing customer support tickets. So a few years back, it was possible to be a really, like I would say, a contributing product manager, just like being real good at like producing these artifacts. You know how to conduct customer interviews, writing them up, communicate these to like your colleagues, yada. And now this AI is sort of becoming like a great equalizer in this sense, because everyone can now deliver these artifacts. So my question is, what becomes important now? What is the differentiator between a great and average product manager now that the great equalizer is at play? That's it. That's the question.
Great question.
I will be, you know better, I am sure. I am working in such a small team that I might have like really small visibility for that. But what I see is exactly the same what Eyal was just saying about engineers. It's exactly the same, that the code can be generated now at some level by AI, right? The same with these artifacts. And what is then important is to have your core competence, this good gut feeling that what is the right thing to do. So you are not anymore the assistant of somebody, like you said, like you don't need to write any more minutes of meeting. I'm so happy for that, because during my project management time, that was something that I was doing every evening, because every meeting had to have the minutes of meeting. So happy to not do it anymore. But this kind of judgmental gut feeling, understanding, using your creative mind and confidence of what is happening, this is something that we still are doing. Exactly what I was saying about the AI future inside of the product. This is something that you need to envision. You need to think. Maybe you are talking with LLM still to brainstorm together with it, but I don't see that these product managers are replaceable by AI. I mean, long term. I think it's still needed. Yeah.
The product managers whose contribution is to deliver artifacts, they are well replaceable, but product managers with great intuition and gut feel.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we don't need anymore the assistants or secretaries, right? We don't need the writers. But we do need those people who are critically thinking and having a good gut feeling.
I don't have anything to add to this.
I have to agree. I think that, or why I started my entrepreneurship journey was because I was feeling like product management in every company that I went to was about frameworks and artifacts. But the end result, like the business was not showing it. And then they thought that if they only had a better framework or a better artifact, or if the product requirements document was written in a better way, then they would be more successful. And then time and time again, when I spoke to people, they were saying product management does not work. But it was never about the artifacts or the frameworks. And I think that even now, but in the recent years, it was about that. And so every product manager, or most product managers, were very good at writing these documents, but less attention went to the end result or whether the business was panning out. So I think that now this gives us time for thinking that we always got told as product managers that we should make for ourselves while writing all of these bullet points into a product requirements document. Now AI does this, and now the decision making is one thing that remains with humans, but also what Marta mentioned before, stakeholder management and inspiring the people that invest in you, whether this is a good investment. I don't think that AI can do that.
Yes, so let's... Markikas.
So if the great gut feeling is the quality of the great project or product manager, then are these great ones born with great gut feeling, or can it be trained or taught, or do they need to attend any programs or live a long life before that, or how you get to this great gut feeling?
Maybe that's a great question. Maybe I will ask a follow-up question to that, and maybe this is something that you can also try to answer from a different angle, because this webinar today, we're recording it for people who are considering to come and start learning how to be a good product manager. Some of them might have already some experience, but more than likely, people who come here will come either from technical background, from design background, from business background, and then they try to complement their existing skills with something in addition. So maybe you can add to the question that Marta asked, thinking back to your more junior years, when you started your first work, so when it was just about, writing code or writing some first things or doing some things in communication, how did you complement, how did you actually acquire the skills in order to be somebody with a gut feeling, how to be with somebody who has an insight, how to become somebody who has the decision-making ability? So what are the things that are required? And what are the first steps that can be taken? So who would like to start?
I can start, but I will take the simple way out. I think that everybody is born with the ability to make decisions. It's a question of what you make those decisions, like what is the base that you make them on. And I think you can absolutely learn how to acquire enough information to make good decisions, to base your decisions on that. And you can absolutely learn to recognize your own bias. And this is what this is about, to make better decisions. It's not about whether we can make decisions. We as humans are built reactive, so we make decisions every day. But regarding product decisions, it requires thinking forward and trying to predict a possible future based on some sort of evidence. So as you become a better product manager, you have more evidence and therefore, arguably, maybe you make better decisions, maybe not.
And what I can bring in from my EBS experience, I'm pretty sure that it's quite practical. So what you are doing here is I hope at least I haven't participated, but what I would expect this to have is that you have the environment where you are testing through these different inputs and kind of like empowering your own gut feeling, because yes, we are born with this decision making power, but we are challenged in when we grow up that we don't trust it anymore. So you need to have this experience again, that what kind of decision making or like decision points you need, or like data points you need to have to make good decisions, and then trust it. So I think that's what you need to have: good environment, good group work. You learn how others are thinking, what kind of tools are there. So I think this is still needed to learn this kind of like I don't know what it is, role, right? So to make it to be better than average. So I think that's the benefit of taking your time to study it. And yes, you can do it with your LLM and I don't know, whatever, but you will miss the environment, you will miss the people around you. And that is something what you get from actual coming to the kind of like school and start doing it. So I think that's a big difference.
If you are talking about this gut feeling that you mentioned, then unrelated to product management, to everything that you do, like what you are going to wear today, what will you eat, all of the stuff that you do are kind of come from what you have experienced in the past. They build you and your the way that you are thinking unconsciously in the background. And to tie back to what you were saying, one thing for me that was very interesting in EBS when I was here is that we had lots of these things where the class was not like, okay, here is a slide, I'm talking you about something you learn. It was more like they bring some point and then people from the group discuss this thing from their perspectives and their backgrounds and their industries where they are. And for me, it was very interesting because now here people are in like IT in this setting, but in my group in EBS, I was almost the only one. There was maybe one other person who was a bit in IT. So it was very diverse amount of people who have very different perspectives and backgrounds than I do. And I got a lot of kind of like insight into how they think, how their industries work, etc. And this was like very, very, I think maybe the most valuable thing for me from that experience in EBS.
Just a small comment, because I've been recently going into the intuitive decision-making stuff. And in recent years, there has been a lot of research included. And all of these things that you mentioned, actually, it is trainable. It is trainable through the experiences. So pick different careers in different organizations. You build up, take some coaching, group discussions as are part of the MBA as well. This will help you minimize your own biases and be really conscious about why, for example, sometimes your intuition fails. And you learn to understand what triggers the success in intuition listening it and what triggers the failure. So based on that knowledge, you'll get more into this good gut feeling as a product manager.
You can pass on
to. Regarding all these like tools, frameworks, and other formal methods of product management, there is some attitude going on in the circles of senior product people that sort of like amateurs speak frameworks and pros speak intuition or results or whatnot. But on the other hand, in order to like earn your place on the mat, so to say, drawing a parallel to like jiu-jitsu or something like that, you need to know how the game is played, and then you know how to conduct customer interviews, why to conduct them, how to communicate with engineers, and so on. And then you start practicing, and that's how you build your intuition. Otherwise, you aren't in the game, you aren't gaining experience, and like there is a small temptation to be sort of like maybe a bit ironic about all these frameworks, but actually they are really useful. You start with these. These are not like your ticket to the ultimate win, but this is the practice of product management. And when you know that, you follow that. This is like how you gain the intuition. So it's actually really, really valuable to know all the like praxis, the official praxis of product management.
So we're talking about artifacts like, well, washing your teeth in the morning. So it's a practice, and well, you probably can skip it from time to time, but it's better for your health and also for everybody around you that you don't, because they help you keep going. All right. So we are now at the point where we are almost wrapping up our discussion. So before we do, can I also ask now about the question that you asked Joel before? So can you share a little bit about the experience of studying at EBS and taking the MBA? So you already shared that, well, it's a lot of discussion based. So if you would have to go back and try to see that, well, you learned something, is there an aha moment which you remember either from these times when you were studying, or are there some examples from some of the classes that you occasionally use in your practice now?
You want to
start? It's really hard to pick like one specific moment or something, because there was like so many and they all kind of like shaped the experience, but more like this group level things. Like one thing I mentioned already, this shared experiences from different people. One thing that I really liked and learned about more for the first time is this coaching that you mentioned. For me, that was like really interesting, because usually if you see around these like life coaches, whatever, it sounds like some bullshit to me at least. And this we had like really nice kind of in the nature offsite where we had like this coaching experience, and for me it was like really interesting. I later on went to additionally specific coaching school to learn more, and even though I'm not like pursuing coaching career, those skills are very useful in many things. So this was like very cool. One thing that I also enjoyed in EBS was this we had some game, I forgot the name of it, which maybe it was the whole class was this game where we were having kind of like a week or something to prepare for the next game day. And game day was, we were here for like whole class time. I don't know, was it 8 hours or whatever? And then you are a team who are a company, you're competing against other teams, like making decisions, analyzing data, how to do stuff. And there was like lots of details there that were kind of like hard to like say in like few sentences now, but the whole experience was like really cool.
Yeah, Dynamo game is for sure something that stands out from the whole experience, because it is gamified, it's fun, and it's really practical. I was just in EBS Gala and saying that there is also these supervisory board meetings. You need to be and present what are you planning and why didn't you deliver again the goals that you set the last week. And now when I am in the supervisory board, I constantly think about exactly the same room, how I was presenting this internally, and it's lighten the mood a little bit. But I think I agree with you that it's a lot of this like cross industry experience, what is in the room. And before that I was so much into engineering and computer science and all of this digital world, and then all of a sudden you are working next to people or working together with people who are selling cosmetics or who are producing or in road construction or building the Edu house. So it's so different and in the same time so much the same. So you are here with experienced people with different mindset, and then it's really like diversifying your point of view. And thanks to that, I am where I am today, and I'm really happy that I joined or decided to join and participate this. But the diversity, real life experience, group work, and for me also finance. So if you ask that what I'm using every day now, is that I know how to read more financial reporting, how to do budgeting. Because before that I was like, but after having this year here, I'm more confident on doing decisions based on these financial statements.
Yeah, this is also something that we just had a recent focus group whereby one young lady said that, she had also some economics background before, but try to stay as much away from finance as possible. And she said that, over the weekend, she gave a call to her parents saying that, Mommy, Daddy, I want to specialize in finance. So all of a sudden they realized that it's actually fun and it's actually quite doable as well. So thank you. So we are wrapping up our session today, so thank you everybody for attending this, and I'm also again wrapping it up with the words of advertising. So our admission process is currently open, so everybody who is interested in coming to the EBS to add to their skills also their master's degree, so they are most welcome to get in touch, ask any questions. And we're planning to bring you on board starting from this autumn semester. And then digital MBA program is certainly one of the things that you can contemplate depending on your previous background. You can see either 1-year program or then 2-year program. So for 1-year program, you need either previous master's degree, 4-year bachelor's, or at least 5 years of management experience. For 2 years program, you can contemplate it, if you are missing all of the previous, and then you're welcome to also build the foundation on management and economics, which is also really useful. So that's also the possibility. So thank you very much. Thank you, Anna-Liisa. Thank you, Kadri. Thank you, Joel. So can we have a hand of applause?